Okay, let's go. We got a special video today. Before we get into the review of the I O VOLARE, let's talk about the item on my desk. It was sent express from Singapore by Crinacle. It is a sign set. You can see on the top right, it's a signature, and also he wrote his name in block print. I promised this about a month ago. In addition to people that commented before, a lot of people had no idea about this. If you're interested in a signed, hand-signed set of the DUSK, because it's rare, go ahead and comment below. You've got to be a subscriber. Give the video a thumbs up if you generally like it. Now explain what took place here. I suggested this to Crinacle and said, I'll just go ahead and pay you for it, and whenever you got time. And he said, that's cool, I can do that. Sounds like a good idea. He hit me up a few days ago and said, I got that set ready for you. And he showed me a picture of it signed. I posted it in my community section. He sent it FedEx. It came here, bam, in 2 days. I sent him a mail and say, give me an email so that I can pay it. Like, I'm not sure how. PayPal, or what are we doing? But I need some info because I got to pay for it. And he says, just donate it to charity. I'm cool with that. And everybody on this who watches me knows I'm big into the animal charity. I looked at Singapore charities, and I had to go through some other people the last time because they do pay over there, and I don't have that over here in Japan. So I went to another one that people who have been Patreons or known me for years. I've been donating to this place called Charlie's Rescue. They focus on elderly cats and dogs that are in shelters. They're very hard to rescue because you got to think about someone who is going to rescue. Maybe they have children. They're going to adopt a dog that's 10 years old and is going to pass away in 4 years, or a cat that's 10 years old. It's got a couple years left, or 4 or 5. For their children and trauma, they don't do that. So that's a very hard group to find a home for. This Charlie's Rescue focuses on that group. They're very at risk, as every pet in a shelter is. They're particularly at risk, and I donate to a group that focuses on them because I very much appreciate them. I'll put up pictures right now of proof of my payment, which took place about an hour and a half ago. I paid $400 US to them for this set. So the animals have been taken care of, and now the people in the hobby who are interested in getting this, you just got to be a subscriber, comment below this channel. And I'm going to do this for future collaborations, and I've already set it up. I've set it up with Timmy and Da Vinci. I'm going to get a signed Da Vinci from him, and I'm going to donate to a local to him, Osaka, because I do know rescue shelters over here as opposed to Singapore. So that'll be coming up, and that'll always take place. I'll take my personal money and donate it so that I can get something signed and that somebody who watches my channel can score. It just seems to me, in my kind of Asperger's brain, like an absolutely win-win all the way around. I'd buy the set anyway for the donation, so give it to the animals. And if the person who's doing it is cool with that, which of course they would be, it just seems like such an automatic win. So there's that. Comment below. Don't forget, good luck to the person that wins. That would be such a score in my opinion. I'm big into sports. And getting signatures on footballs and stuff is a big thing for me, kind of like in my youth. So I just find this to be dope. Now, sorry for that delay. We're talking about a set called the I O VOLARE. Now let's talk about my scoring system and put it up if it's not already up there. Keep it super simple overall. The scale says dumpster fire on the left. Squirch it back into carbon, comes back as a fish, a frog, maybe another earphone done properly. Hope it was free, you know? Like, I wouldn't pay for that. I hope you didn't. Coping is working. You had to use foam tips. You had to do this. You had to do that. You had to do more than you thought. Just open up the box. That's not a wreck. Competes with its peers. We're getting kind of towards a wreck. It's an option among other options in its price range, roughly. Let's say plus minus $100. That's getting towards a wreck. I'd buy it as obviously a wreck because I would spend my personal money for it, and then going to shamelessly hype it, that kind of speaks for itself as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the frequency response graph of the I O VOLARE. Again, this is a Tribird, a 1DD, 4BA, 4EST. I've got it up against High Senior Mega 5 EST, which is a set I very much like and just got mentioned by somebody else, and it's getting a lot of traction. You can see that the difference between these two really starts at the ear gain, and there is a lot more upper mids than the 5 EST. I gotta say that graph, now I'm going to take the 5 EST out, which is very similar to the camper and the Storm more so than other sets. And I'm going to leave this set here. I don't hear this sounding as bright as it would indicate, but it does play itself out. Let's go ahead and talk about music. Let's start with bass. Starting with Kill Jill, which is a triple drop, the lowest drop being at 38 hertz. The bass sounds fine. It's not very impactful, but it's nice and it's clean. 4-string bass guitars, 4 and 5-string bass guitars, the pulls, releases, the snaps of the strings, the ringing, they can sometimes get a little bit carried away because of later boosts and the harmonics of that instrument. It sounds actually fine. I think it sounds really good, actually. The kick drum on Bonham's, when the levee breaks, the entrance on the Led Zeppelin's 4th album sounds produced, sounds significant, sounds the way I would expect it. It's not quite as impactful as a lot of other sets. This is sounding very similar to a set that I just did a review for, which can't recall off the top of my head, but it was kind of the same thing. So the low end is good for people that really like punch. This wouldn't be it, but it's not lacking, it's not rolled, and it's not bleeding into the mids at all. Speaking of the mids, Chris Cornell doing Sinead O'Connor's famous take of a Prince-written track, Nothing Compares to You, an acoustic version, sounds great. Lane Staley, The Roosts are also an acoustic, MTV Unplugged, which is just epic. It was better than the original. A girl named Nina Shalane, I got to get her name right. I gave her credit because I clipped that part. Doing Blondie's Heart of Glass sounds really good. Vocals sound quite good. It looks like it would have a little bit of extra energy. I'm not really picking that up. Speaking of energy, as we get up into Cymbals, which are abrupt, sudden explosions in the upper mid regions. Again, the stick strike, according to a spectrogram that we did, looks to be between 5 and 650 hertz, where you can isolate just the sound of the stick striking the cymbal. But most of what you actually pick up is in the upper mids, especially in the ear gain up to about 4 to 5K is where a meat of it exists. It sounds good. It doesn't sound tizzy. It doesn't sound overly energetic to my ears. Keyboard, Elton John, Love Lies Bleeding, Funeral for a Friend. Actually, it starts with Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding. There's a lot of organ, dun, dun, dun. That was a little bit that noticeably stepped out a little bit. On this track, it sounded like a long listen might be a tough gig if you're listening to a lot of piano or maybe orchestra. Clean, clear, crisp, slightly energetic. Hendrix with the distortion pedals or other replays, going back to some 80s stuff with Rat, You're in Love. I thought sounded great. The only time I felt kind of intense was with the keyboards, and it played out with ELO as well. Mr. Blue Sky also, because I went to check, is that the instrument? Is there something going on? For some reason, that's stepping out to my ear. Let's go ahead and rank this, and then I'll give some final thoughts about it. Is it a dumpster fire? Absolutely not. So bats that out. Hope it was free. You'd be scoring if you got it for free. And by the way, that Volare will go to Patreons because it's over $500. They get to bid on it. Competes with its peers. It doesn't have a lot of peers other than what I showed, which would be the Mega 5 EST. Then next would be I'd buy it. And then going to shamelessly hype it. This is what I'm going to say. At $600, I'd buy this. $600 seems like such a dead zone for such a long time. There wasn't a lot of options where you really had to sit and think about it when somebody would come in and say, well, just save up and get $1,000. $1,000 is a mental, it's like pricing something at 99 cents instead of $1. They do that for mental, because people say, oh, 99 cents. It's a penny less than $1, but there's some psychology behind that. $1,000, is that really some jumping point where you get a bunch of stuff? Not really, actually. I don't think so. I'll put it in I'd buy it, but I would put the caveat that if I'm comparing this with the Mega 5 EST, I would actually take the 5 EST over it, because it's matching more to how I listen. You guys know that I like a little bit of warmth in the low end, and I like low Pina more than I do typical Pina, Harman, or something like that. That's known through collabs, through recommendations, through my favorite sets, including the Camper, stuff like the Storm. I'm really not big into the big boosted Harman type stuff. Not usually, but this is a great set. So I'm going to go ahead and close out with this. Don't forget that the Crin thing is up, and I will announce this. Today is the 22nd of April. So that would mean Sunday is what, the 20? Let me figure this out for a second. So Sunday is the 28th. I'm going to announce this on Sunday. The winner of this set that's right on my desk, I'll announce it on Sunday. And I'll do what Crin did, and I'll send it out the next day. So by Sunday evening, Japan time, this will be out in the mail towards somebody that comments below this video. So don't be slow about that. If you want to see an unboxing for the Volare, I forgot to mention that. There's a full unboxing on my channel, and it's actually really a very nicely presented set. For its price range, it's quite good. I believe that's it. That is it. And we are out.